Germany's next Chancellor Friedrich Merz stated he is willing to provide Ukraine with long-range Taurus cruise missiles should the Allies allow it, reports the Financial Times on Sunday. This would mark a shift in Berlin's military support to Kyiv, who until now have repeatedly refused to send Taurus missiles, citing risks of escalation, stated the FT. The Taurus system, developed by Germany and Sweden, has a range of more than 500 kilometers and is capable of penetrating hardened targets like bunkers and bridges thanks to its intelligent warhead. Merz suggested that the missiles could be used to strike high-value targets such as the Kerch Bridge, a strategic connection between Russia and occupied Crimea, FT posits. President Trump should visit Ukraine and witness the consequences of Russia's invasion firsthand. This was stated by President Zelenskyy in an interview with CBS News on Sunday. This way, Trump will understand what Putin did before any decisions are made on how to finish the war, said Zelenskyy.
Would you invite President Trump to Ukraine?
With pleasure. Please. I always wanted very much. That's what I wanted to do also. I did it, not once. And that I always said that if you have to we want you to come, and I think to come and to see. You think you understand what's going on here? Okay, we respect your position. You understand. And then what was there that in different meetings, as I said, with Kellogg or with Vance, with Rubio, and everybody think that they understand. And we respect, okay, you think, okay, be with the opposition, but please, before any kind of decisions, any kind of formats of negotiations, come to see people, civilians, warriors, hospitals, churches, children, destroyed or dead, wounded, or just walking in the streets.
Despite announcements of partial ceasefires made 1 month ago by the White House, none have materialized. Ukraine unconditionally agreed to the proposals made in Jeddah on March 11th, but Russia rejected it, instead demanding conditions, decried the Ukrainian president.
Judging by the number of times the ceasefire was already broken, you can clearly draw a line that Putin is not willing to end the war. That's why, when dealing with a person that doesn't intend on ending the war, you need to build your relationship in a way that would exclude any wiggle room and put them into a corner.
Meanwhile, Trump's spiritual advisor, Pastor Mark Burns, reversed his position on military aid to Ukraine following his recent visit to the country. In an interview with the Kyiv Independent on April 9, Burns is now calling on the U.S. to provide Ukraine with tanks, F-35 fighter jets, and air defense systems after witnessing what he describes as atrocities by Russia and the pure evil of Putin.
I now believe that supporting Ukraine is America first. I've been on the ground in Ukraine. I've spoken to all your leadership in Ukraine. I've spoken to the everyday man and woman of the citizen of Ukraine. And I can tell you, the spirit of Ukraine is not broken. It is very much alive and is very much ready to defend its homeland. But more importantly than ammo, they want peace.
One of the ballistic missiles used in the strike on Sumy on Palm Sunday, April 13th, was a North Korean KN-23. This is according to the head of Ukraine's defense intelligence, Kyrylo Budanov, in a statement released on Monday. 2 ballistic missiles of the Iskander-M and KN-23 type were used by 2 Russian separate missile brigades to carry out the attack, stated Budanov. 35 people were killed and 117 were injured in what Reuters reports was the deadliest single missile attack on the country this year. The KN-23 is a North Korean short-range ballistic missile system with a range of up to 500 kilometers, capable of carrying nuclear warheads, while the Iskander-M is a Russian missile system with a similar range and flight profile designed to evade missile defenses. Ukrainian authorities have confirmed that cluster warheads were used in the attack, compounding the civilian population casualties. Over 100 countries have banned their use under the Convention on Cluster Munitions due to their brutality and long-term dangers to civilians in the form of scattered unexploded bomblets remaining on the ground. Steve Wiktoff, the special envoy for President Trump, has revealed new details about his recent visit to Russia in an interview with Fox News on April 14th. He described his lengthy conversation with self-proclaimed President Putin focused on ending the war through a deal centered around control of 5 territories, Wiktoff told Fox.
This peace deal is about these so-called 5 territories, but there's so much more to it. It's a complicated situation, rooted in some real problematic things happening between the two countries, and I think we might be on the verge of something that would be very, very important for the world at large.
While no formal agreement was reached, Wiktoff expressed cautious optimism, suggesting that the meeting marked a step toward de-escalation. The European Union is set to unveil a long-delayed strategy to phase out Russian oil and gas imports on May 6, according to Reuters. The release of the plan, which has already been postponed twice, outlines how the bloc intends to end its reliance on Russian fossil fuels by 2027, a pledge made in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Unlike oil, Russian gas imports have not been subject to EU sanctions. Hungary has vowed to block any such measures, which require unanimous approval from all member states. Other governments have also signaled reluctance to support a full ban on Russian liquid natural gas without reliable alternative sources in place. So far, the European Commission has not disclosed which specific tools or policies will be included in the upcoming roadmap to accelerate the shift away from Russian energy.
It is clear that we are working on the 17th package, also the shadow fleet and different elements there to put it together for the Foreign Affairs Council in May.
A U.S. Democratic representative has introduced a new bill aimed at supporting Ukraine. Greg Mix of the House Foreign Affairs Committee is proposing legislation on security assistance, post-war reconstruction funding, and tougher sanctions on Russia in a bill reviewed by Reuters on Monday. Known as the Ukraine Support Act, the document has not yet been officially released. This comes 2 weeks after Republicans and Democrats in the Senate introduced separate sanctions legislation targeting Russia, which would take effect if Moscow refuses to engage in peace talks with Ukraine, told Reuters. Ukrainian forces destroyed a rare North Korean self-propelled artillery system, the M1989 Koksan, in the Donetsk region. A video was released by the Muramasa unit of the 109th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade on Monday. The Koksan is a North Korean heavy artillery platform weighing 40 tons and firing a rare 170mm caliber shell. It has a reported range of up to 40 kilometers with standard rounds and up to 60 kilometers with rocket-assisted projectiles. These systems have been supporting Russian forces with long-range fire across multiple fronts. According to the head of Ukrainian Defense Intelligence, Kirill Budanov, Russia received 120 Koksan units from North Korea and is expected to receive another 120. With the battle for Porkrovsk raging and hopes for any ceasefire diminishing, many of the few residents who still remain in the city have decided to leave, reported Reuters. Porkrovsk is a strategic road and rail logistics hub in the Ukrainian-held eastern Donetsk region. The news agency came to witness the National Police White Angel unit while the servicemen evacuate residents in dire need of protection from Russian terror. The relentless bombardment and shelling of the city has turned it into a shadow of its former self. There is no electricity, gas, heating or piped water. Once home to a thriving population of 60,000, the city now finds itself deserted. Reuters footage shows facades of apartment blocks badly damaged, deserted streets, bomb craters and rubble covering the ground. According to a statement by the Ukrainian police in mid-March, the city's population had dwindled to around 2,500 residents. Those remaining, mostly elderly, have been sheltering in basements. The special White Angel unit of Ukraine's police go back and forth evacuating the living and retrieving the dead. 2 Chinese nationals, Wang Guanzhong and Zhang Renbo, who were captured by Ukrainian forces while fighting for Russia, came out with a statement during a press conference on Monday. The prisoners of war revealed that they were drawn in by a professionally produced recruitment video on TikTok that promised free travel and hefty financial rewards. One added that Russian authorities withheld his pay and concealed the terms of his military service.
March 29, 2025, I received a notification telling me, along with 2 others, to head to the front line. We were told to prepare our combat gear, bring food and water, and get ready to move out. I didn't know what our mission was. Then, on March 31st, 2025, at 5 a.m. Russian time, a Russian person led me to another person. I don't know what country that other foreigner was from. He wasn't Russian, and he spoke what I think was Arabic, but I couldn't tell exactly what country he was from. This Russian man took the two of us.
The Chinese government has denied any official involvement in the presence of its citizens captured in the east of Ukraine while fighting on Russia's side, saying it will assess their actions according to Chinese law once all circumstances have been verified.
The punishment is justified, but I still want to return to my homeland to be with my family again. If you haven't experienced it yourself, of course, you wouldn't really understand.